Hi, my name's Steve. Today in the video we're going to be looking at the assembly of this vacuum pump and vacuum system, EVS-2 system. It requires assembly, and I'm going to take you through that process. This video is not sponsored in any way by anyone and is just my opinion about the way it goes together. It's not going to be a step-by-step video. The directions that are given in the kit or available through the kit are really wonderful, and I recommend that be the way you learn. But I give you an overview of how it all comes together, what it looks like when it's done, and how it works. Again, thanks for stopping by. So I just did the unboxing and didn't press record on the camera, so here we go. Here's what's in the box. This is a 5 CFM dual piston vacuum pump with the setup that Joe Woodworker sells on veneersupplies.com. I do a lot of panel pressing and veneers and hardwoods, and right now I'm building a boat, so I need to put mahogany planking on the side of the boat as well as create mahogany panels for the floor. So laminating plank mahogany onto the side of the boat plus onto the plywood substrate for the floor pieces called soles. So here's what's in the kit. There's a plywood material for the front for the carrying case, 5 CFM vacuum pump. This is a dual piston pump. We got a vacuum hose and some fittings, tube fittings. We got PVC tubes that form the storage reservoirs. There's a threaded cap and a plain cap on each, so you get two of these. Two of these here become two parts of the tank. We have electrical parts, kit including boxes, switches, solenoid valve, the gauges in here, vacuum gauges in here also, a whole bunch of brass parts and hardware, screws, Teflon tape, and my receipt. Now there's no instructions that come along with it. To their credit, they ask you to download their instruction manual, which is extremely well organized and very well documented. And to print it, you need 70 pages, and there's plenty of pictures. So they suggest doing it with the instructions on a computer in front of you. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll grab my computer and set it up and follow along. So I'm going to be assembling this and hopefully start using it soon. So here goes. Well, the first thing I did, as suggested by the instructions, is to make sure everything is here, and it looks like all the individual parts and pieces are all accounted for. The first main step they tell you is to take the plywood carrier and uprights and sand them, and I'm going to round over the edges with a router bit, and then I'll come back and show you. Okay, well, I just sanded and finished, put some polyurethane on those plywood pieces. So we're going to let those dry, and while I do that, I'm going to move on to the next step. And the next step is sorting through all of these pieces and creating what they're calling the inlet manifold. So I need to cover all the threads in Teflon tape, get everything ready, and then start assembling. I'll get back. Okay, in this step I assemble the manifold assembly, which is pretty much a matter of screwing pipes together with Teflon tape. They actually give you a little tutorial on how to do the Teflon tape, how to wrap it, which is very nice, very well thought out. And the directions, I've got to say, are spectacular. They give you pictures of how everything should be. They describe clearly what should happen. They're not verbose. There's not too many words. Just right, kind of a Goldilocks set of directions so far. The next step is to assemble the reservoirs, so I'll do that now. Well, okay, we've got two storage reservoirs put together per the directions. Each of them has a tapped hole and then a blank end, solid end I should say, with the brackets and bungee cords on them, and they're ready for that next step that we need those for. I'll put these away and get started on the next, which is assembling the manifold that I made to these tanks. So I'll come back when that's done. Okay, that step was to mount all of the reservoir manifold assembly into the base, and comes with rubber feet. Everything is all lined up and correct. It'll be a carrying kit basically, and looks good so far. Again, the directions are fantastic, just the right amount of direction. plenty of illustrative pictures, and totally recommend them. It's very, very good. So moving on to the next step. Let's see what it is. It is, well, I'll find it. We'll figure it out. That step was to hook up the motor, basically to mount the motor on the base, and route the cable so it can be managed. Pretty much shaping up now. I've got the reservoirs, the manifold, got all the filter. I've got the filter on. Also made the connections to the hose. This is a snap-on, snap-off connector, and as I said, the motor now is mounted. So we got feet on this, and it's quite portable. A bit heavy, but won't be too bad. And very, very well thought out handle, and pretty compact footprint. So the next step is to work out the electrical connections and control connections. And there's an electrical mounting box that I'll put on. So we'll get onto that next. So I went ahead and finished up. The control system was very straightforward, no more difficult than anything else. They provided all the connector parts and the whatnot that you need to make sure that you get it done right. It's a nice little package at the end. It's heavy. The motor's pretty heavy. But I'll take you in for a zoom here and show you what the parts are. Show you how it all fits together. So here it is all assembled. You've got the pressure gauge here, which shows you the amount of vacuum in the system. And what happens is the motor comes on, draws a vacuum through this hose. There's a solenoid valve that's connected to the motor. If the pressure is low, the solenoid valve will open. What will it do? Yeah, it'll energize the system to put the pump on. And then the vacuum is stored here. It comes up and stored. This is the system pressure. So the whole thing is behind the valve is stored with vacuum. This is a sub-reservoir that stores vacuum. It stores vacuum for the pump, so that the pump doesn't have to start against atmospheric pressure. It can start against a vacuum, which is pretty cool. It saves wear and tear on the pump. The pump is a nice pump. It's 5 CFM. Let's see what else. Totally adjustable. Here you have the controls. This is where the pump is connected into this outlet, and there's a combination switch outlet. This kicks on the entire system. It's off now, and holding a 20-inch vacuum. Here I have you probably can't see it very well, but it's a continuous run option. And when I click that button, it will run and override the on-off. Right now, the system is set so that when turned on, it'll come up to pressure, shut off, and when it needs pressure, it'll come back on and recharge the system. So I can override that with this switch. So it's a pretty neat setup. All the plywood stuff went together very well. It's very well made. All the brass is, heavy-duty brass fittings. Everything went together very well, just as promised, I should say. Here is where now, if you want to take vacuum out of the hose, it has a quick connect fitting, and the hose here has the companion, and that is the quick connect part here. So you just slide that back, snap that on, and that's good to go out to the vacuum bag, and it's ready to go. So to take it off, obviously, it's just a quick connect. It's a nice little system, and there's a similar connector on the bag to be able to take it off. It also has some pretty cool features. Well, not cool features, but pretty thoughtful features, like the storage. They give you these bungees so you can store the hose. It's just a little loop bungee with a knob on it, and it goes on there. And then when you're transporting this, you coil the power cord up. Instead of dragging it around, they give you these neat little bungee doodads that you can just pick up and store. You just grab them and store the cord. So all in all, that's a pretty cool setup. I'm going to put it to work soon and press those panels that I need to do for my boat. I'll pop some pictures up of my boat project. It's a Glen L 16-foot Malahini. It's a runabout speedboat mahogany, and is mahogany. The boat is mahogany planked, and you'll see how the planks are applied. At a certain point, they become. You have to apply them with a vacuum, and use a one-sided vacuum bag against the hull. And use a one-sided vacuum bag against the hull, and essentially vacuum bag the planks on while they're epoxying. So yeah, that's coming up, and I'm looking forward to it. If you stayed this long, thanks for watching, and yeah, I recommend this system. It's the Joe Woodworker system, and looks to be like a good investment, and I'm pretty happy and looking forward to put it to use. Thanks for watching. So it just occurred to me I never turned it on to let you hear it run. It's pretty uneventful. It's not very loud. So I'm going to just take this out, take the power cord out, and plug it in for you. Let's see, where's the best plug is over here. Just going to turn this around, plug it in, switch is off. Okay, so right now we are at 19 inches of mercury, and it's set at 21, so it's been sitting for about an hour at 20 or so. So I'm going to flip it on, and it's energized now, so it's ready to come on. And I'm going to let some vacuum out, let the air in, and it'll bring it down so that the pump will kick in. And at that point I'll shut up and you can hear the motor run. You can hear it's pretty quiet. And there it is. That's all it takes. Recharges the system back up to 21 inches, and good to go. So as I mentioned, I have the continuous run option, and that's this switch here. And I can just get it to come on continuously, and that's if I have a bag that may not be so tight or has a leak that I can't find. I can just continually run that. So yeah, it should be a good setup, and really happy with the quietness of it. I was prior to this, the system I was using was driven by my air compressor. So in order to use the vacuum machine to generate a vacuum, I also had to run the compressor, and it was loud. And every time the compressor came on, it was like rattled the house. So, you know, I have a basement shop, so it's a bit annoying. And anyway, this is looks pretty good so far, and I'll keep you posted. Thanks for watching.